This SummerSlam was slightly better than the last one, but man, did the ending really piss me off. SummerSlam 2018 didn't really have that true epic classic of SummerSlam. Even like there was a lot of bad SummerSlams that I reviewed, but they never. There was always that one match that people go back and go like, "Yeah, that match was really good." Here, there was a lot of pretty good matches, but never one that stood out. Some of you may not even remember half of this card. Like just by looking at the poster, you only remember the way things ended, and of course, you remember Ronda getting the big belt. But I'm very curious to see what people think about this show because, well, let's just get to it. Seth Rollins regains the Intercontinental Championship from Dolph Ziggler. They had Dean Ambrose in Seth's corner and Drew McIntyre on Dolph's corner. It was very clear they wanted to push Drew McIntyre, but instead they went with Dolph here. I guess because Seth can easily beat Dolph Ziggler and he doesn't feel as threatening, I guess. And I think they wanted to save Drew McIntyre to be this big monster heel. And they did a phenomenal job with building up Drew McIntyre as that guy. It just took 2 more years for them to fully pull the trigger on him. As far as this match goes, I do remember mainly Seth Rollins dressed as Thanos. This was 2018, the same year Infinity War came out. So it was very fitting. I love that the foot that he used to curb stomp was the gauntlet. But overall, these guys have really good chemistry. They have really good matches. This is probably their best one. Um, After a while, they do all feel the same, but this one really stood out to me as a really good one, and I was happy that Seth Rollins went. He was doing a great job as the Intercontinental Champion. The Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day, and I'm not gonna lie, this match pissed me off. You just had the Bludgeon Brothers come out with some hammers. I used to call them the Toys R Us hammers, beat up Biggie and Xavier Woods, and then on SmackDown they would have a street fight, which was a great match where the New Day become 5-time WWE or SmackDown Tag Team Champions, I should say. And I'm just like, why didn't they just do that here? I don't get it. They could have cut down a couple of these matches and gave this match more time, even made it a no DQ. We all would have been satisfied, but no, they just had to have a stupid DQ finish. Why? I will never know. Braun Strowman defeated Kevin Owens for the Money in the Bank briefcase. This match was a minute long. It was just to showcase Braun Strowman as a dominant monster. And after this, Kevin Owens takes some time off. I believe this was like the storyline where he quits, only to come back right after, and then he gets legit injured, so he had no choice but to be off television. This was a bad time to be a KO fan. Charlotte Flair beats Carmella and Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Decent match. It was supposed to be just Becky and Carmella, but then Charlotte just inserts her way. They don't even really explain it. But this result led into one of the best things to ever happen to the women's division, and that is the birth of the man. After this, Becky Lynch was pissed. She beats up Charlotte Flair. People are thinking, oh, well, WWE, in their mind, Becky Lynch was going to be the heel and Charlotte the babyface. The crowd flipped it and it became iconic. Becky Lynch became the man. She was the most over face of the company, more than the guys even. That is just a testament of how good Becky Lynch was. I mean, now we like her as a heel, but we are a little bit tired of her. But this was around a time where, like, yes, they're finally pushing Becky. Like, we seen Sasha, we seen Bailey. They got a shitty treatment. Charlotte was just like the golden child, but Becky Lynch said no, 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 and eventually led to the main event of WrestleMania. That is just a testament of how good Becky is. Carmella was the afterthought of the whole match, and she was the champion. It's very unfortunate, but it did lead to one of the best arcs of a character in the women's division ever. So I can't really be mad at it for that. Then we get the TNA match. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship. You would never thought you would ever say that. If this was 2005 through 2009, you would have been like, no way. AJ Styles and Samoa Joe will never fight for the WWE Championship at a Big Four pay-per-view. And sure enough, they did. They had the whole story of Samoa Joe talking to Wendy, AJ Styles' wife, who was in ringside. Talks about like, oh, I'll be the new daddy. AJ loses it, knocks him out with a chair. Samoa Joe wins by DQ, but they set up more matches down the road. And overall, this was a good story. The match quality, it wasn't going to be the same as their TNA matches, but this was still a really good match. It's very clear that these two still have chemistry in the ring. And yeah, you can't really get mad at like the great matches that AJ and Joe had. They did get a little bit repetitive by the end, but this was a good one, so I can't really get mad at that. The Miz versus Daniel Bryan. I would never thought in a million years that this would be the match of the night ever at a show that had AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. But somehow Daniel Bryan and The Miz had a great match. This was 2-year build, I believe. Yeah, it started at Talking Smack in 2016, and then it's worked its way over to SummerSlam 2018. They finally had the match after Daniel Bryan came out of retirement and Miz got drafted back to SmackDown. The story was there. They had a history of like Daniel Bryan being the pro wrestler and Miz being the reality star. They both have proven themselves time and time again. This was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. And then the ending of Maurice being on ringside only to help The Miz screw over Daniel Bryan. And honestly, if this was going to be their first match, The Miz needed to win. And I thought that they did a good job there. It's kind of crazy. This match really could have been for the WWE Championship and nobody would have complained. It's just a testament to how good these characters were at the time we had them in the ring together. Somewhere on the show, Elias has a concert, breaks his guitar, and he gets mad. Baron Corbin fights Demon Finn Balor. This was just a glorified squash match. This really didn't even need to be on the show. And the fact that Finn Balor chose to be the Demon against Baron Corbin and not Brock Lesnar was stupid. I just feel like they wasted the Demon, and it really hurt Finn Balor in the long run when he then used the Demon when he fought Brock Lesnar. It was kind of stupid. I kind of wish that Finn just retired the Demon altogether up to this point. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy for the United States Championship. Good match, but the story lost its steam when Randy Orton got involved, only for him to not even be in this match. The best part of the match was when Shinsuke and Jeff were mocking each other's moveset. With the come on and the moving their hands like this. That was really funny and really cool, showing the characters that they really know each other. They had a decent match. Shinsuke Nakamura wins. This was like his prize for not winning at WrestleMania 34. This was like his backup plan, I guess. And then it led to Randy Orton coming out only to do nothing and then walk back out. It was so weird. But it did lead to a really good Hell in a Cell match the following pay-per-view, so I can't really get mad at that. Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, the match is 4 minutes long. And the match could have honestly been shorter. If anything, it could have just been Ronda Rousey picks up Alexa Bliss, knocks her out a couple times, and then puts her on the armbar. Alexa Bliss taps out, and Ronda Rousey is your champion. That could have been the match. Then there was parts instead where there's Ronda Rousey sitting down, doing breathing exercises. Alexa Bliss is confused. Maybe, it's crazy. For a match that was 4 minutes long, even this was a little too long. But they did the right thing of making Ronda Rousey the Raw Women's Champion. She was the most over star in the company up to this point, even though no one really liked her. But then we get our main event, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. The story here is Brock never shows up. Roman Reigns is tired of waiting. He gets his third opportunity up to this point. Fourth, if you want to count the Fatal 4-Way of last year's SummerSlam. And then they finally just have the match. And the match, we all knew nobody wanted to see the match. So what do? They bring in Braun Strowman. He tells both men, after you two are done, I'm cashing in this briefcase. Which basically told us he's not really going to cash it in because he already gave away the spoiler. Brock Lesnar beats up Braun Strowman with the briefcase midway through the match because Braun Strowman is just in the way. Brock Lesnar throws the briefcase all the way to the entrance ramp. He's about to knock out Roman Reigns with a chair, which is the same chair that he used to knock out Braun Strowman, only for Roman Reigns to spear Brock Lesnar, pin him 1, 2, 3, and Roman Reigns becomes Universal Champion, and rightfully so. This was a period that nobody liked Roman Reigns, but he is a way much better wrestler as the champion and not the chaser, if I'm being honest. Even look at 2024 through 2025 when Roman Reigns was not the Universal WWE champion, whatever. He was just kind of there. 2019 was a horrible year for Roman Reigns. I felt bad for him, even though I didn't like him up to this point. And this is unfortunate because this title reign does end in vacancy due to Roman Reigns having leukemia and having to take care of that. Luckily, he survived. And overall, this show was. It had three good matches: Seth and Dolph, Samoa Joe and AJ, even though the finish was take it or leave it, and then Miz and Daniel Bryan. But no true epic match that I will remember for the test of time. There was a lot of dumb DQ finishes, a lot of unnecessary squash matches, just throw people in the card. So I'm giving this show a C. Not the greatest, but not the worst. And it really hurt that NXT TakeOver Brooklyn was taking over. All of the NXT TakeOvers were being better than SummerSlam. But this is the end of the Brooklyn era. Next video will be 2019, where SummerSlam moves over to Toronto and they change cities consistently. So we're very close to the end. So I'll see you with the next review, which is 2019.